Hello everyone, my name is Jason and I am an ISFP. You are watching my ISFP journey. Thank you for watching. I would ask that you would please subscribe if you would be so kind, and if you have already subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So in this video, I want to talk about having to NT with an SF brain. And I'll explain what I mean as I go. The other day, I was sitting in the living room in my chair, the chair that I tend to usually sit at. And just to my right is the couch where my wife sits. She was sitting there and she had her computer pulled up and she was watching a video. And the video was very science minded, okay? And it was extremely abstract science. It was dealing with aspects of science that someone like me, and I would think people in general, can't see. You may be able to envision it, you may be able to visualize it, understand the concepts, but it can't be seen, it can't be touched, and for many people, the ramifications in the physical world cannot necessarily be immediately understood. Now, my wife, being an NF, is all about, and by NF, I mean she's an INFP, so she's an NF. By being an NF, she's very much about valuing things in the abstract world. Well, part of valuing things in the abstract world is understanding things in the abstract world. So she is pretty adept at understanding abstract concepts, and then she is also very committed to valuing those abstract concepts that she sees as meaningful, as useful. And so I was sitting there in my chair and I was listening to this video. I really wasn't listening intently because it's not a topic that terribly interests me, but I was listening. And I was dealing with leg pain from sciatica, and I was just finding myself in a very bad mood. And I thought to myself, well, it's because I'm in pain. So I got up and I walked away from the situation and, sat somewhere else trying to find a more comfortable spot to make my leg pain go away. Anyway, I kind of stayed in a bad mood for a while, and then I got over it. Well, the next day as I was driving to work, I asked myself the question, was I really in a bad mood simply because of my leg pain, or was there something else putting me in a bad mood? And as I really analyzed it and thought about it, I came to the conclusion that I was in a bad mood partly because of the video that my wife was watching. Now, I wasn't really paying that close of attention to it, but when I did listen in, the topic was scientific and extremely abstract, things that I could not see an immediate application to the physical world, nor could I terribly understand them, nor could I really see their immediate or intrinsic value, or the value of understanding the concept. And that was annoying me. I don't think my inability to understand it or apply it was what was annoying me. I think it was more just the fact that the video was playing and talking about these abstract concepts that are so difficult for me to understand. So the NT mind, the mind that is intuitive and thinking, is all about trying to understand things in the abstract world. Well, I have an SF mind, which means I'm all about trying to value things in the physical world. Now, those two minds are the complete opposite, okay? So an SF and an NT mind are like the far ends of the spectrum of how we process information, or how we think, or how we move through the world. So I'm over here SFing, which means valuing things in the physical world. And my wife was playing a video that required NTing, figuring things out in the abstract world. And I couldn't make sense of them. To the degree that I was paying attention, I couldn't make sense of what I was hearing, and I couldn't see its value, and I couldn't see its application in the physical world. And of course, for me, if I can't see an application in the physical world, then it's not of value, because I'm all about valuing things in the physical world. Now, I understand intellectually these things are of great value, but in the moment, when I can't explain it or apply it to the physical world, then I don't value it. And then I tend to find it to be a nuisance. So as I thought more and more about this, I realized that when I was in my late teens and early 20s, and maybe even later into my mid to late 20s, I did put a lot of work into trying to NT and NF. And I was putting the NT before the NF. So in other words, I was trying to figure things out in the abstract world, NT, okay, intuition and thinking combined. And then based on what made sense to me, what worked, and what I was able to find some application for in the physical world, I then NF'd. I figured out what I wanted to value. The NF, feeling and intuition. I figured out what I wanted to value in the abstract world. So I did some NT work in my 20s, trying to figure things out in the abstract world, which led to my NF work, figuring out what I wanted to value in the abstract world. And then, because the abstract world is difficult for me, especially when I can't figure out the application to the physical world, then after I did that NT work and that NF work, I was done. I was like, okay, I have figured out everything that I think I can understand in the abstract world that matters in the physical world, and therefore those things in the abstract world that I have figured out and understand how they apply in the physical world, those are the things that I will value. And I've created my nice little NT-NF box, and I've put everything in it that I want to have in it, and then I closed the box, put some nails in it, put a lock on it, and said, I am largely done. I have then subsequently, to a great degree, gone through life sort of shut off from any further significant abstract investigation. I had done my NT, I had done my NF, and now I didn't want to think about it anymore. I just wanted to live in STSF land. And again, I'm not a T person, but I enjoy figuring things out in the physical world. I value them first, typically, and then I'll figure them out later. But I do like to ST, and I'm kind of good at it. ST being figuring things out in the physical world. So I like to ST, but of course, I always run to SF, valuing things in the physical world. Figuring out in the physical world, what do I like, what do I not like, what do I value, what do I not value, what do I want to surround myself with, what sort of things do I want to eliminate from my life, so on and so forth. So I'm all about the SF. But my wife, being NF and having a healthy dose of NT within her, she wants to delve into these scientific topics that when I hear about them, I'm like, first of all, I don't even understand. And second of all, what difference does it make? I can't see any application in the physical world. Now, again, as I said earlier, there probably is an application in the physical world, but because I can't see it, I don't want to think about it. It's too complicated for me, and I don't value it because I can't see its application in the physical world. So here I was listening to this NT video, and I was not valuing it at all. It was annoying me. I was annoyed by being forced to effectively take the lock off of my NT-NF box that I had sealed up years ago and crack the lid open, pull out one nail so I could crack the lid open just a little bit so that I could begin to go, do I need to rethink some of the things that I understand in the abstract world as I'm hearing these scientific concepts coming in, talking about, it was talking a lot about matter and particles and how they affect one another and how they can affect things like that don't seem to be touching in any way, shape, or form. So they took some type of particle, I think it was a photon, and they split it apart and they separated it by 14 miles. And anything they did to this part of the photon over here, it instantly occurred to this photon over here. And I'm just like, that's a lot of whatever to me. That's a lot of abstract that in my mind has no application in the physical world. So I'm sitting here going, who cares? What difference does it make? But then there's also a part of me that says it's challenging and it's hard because I'm so focused on the physical world. I want the physical world to be the things that I can make sense of, right? I want the physical world to be, flesh and shirts and hair and, lighting systems. There's a light right here and, and shoes. I want the physical world to be nothing more to a great degree than these things that I can touch and taste and whatnot. But the reality is, I mean, I know intellectually, I know there's so much behind this physical world in the physical that we can't see. You know, like everything, all these things are made up of particles and whatnot, and they all affect one another. But I don't see the impact in the physical world, and so I don't value it. I don't really care a lot, and I don't want to have to think about it. And when I have to think about it, when I have to crack open my NTNF box and reconsider what matters, it annoys me. It frustrates me, largely because I don't understand, largely because I can't see its application in the physical world, and largely because I am an SF. I have an SF brain, and my SF brain does not particularly want to spend time in T'ing or in effing for that matter. I just want to have that part of my consideration sealed up and done and be like, okay, I've got this little box I can carry around with me everywhere I go that has all of my NT and my NF inside of it, but I'm not really actually going to open it and consider putting anything else in. If you're an SF of any kind, let me know if you have trouble NTing, if being forced to figure things out in the abstract world annoys you like it often annoys me. Let me know if you have trouble seeing the physical application of some of the abstract concepts that people in the scientific world talk about. And if you are an NT out there, or an NF really for that matter, you know, be patient with the SFs in your life who might not want to jump all over these concepts. It's not that we're stupid and incapable of understanding. It's that if we can't see, or at least for me, I'm speaking for myself here, but at least for me, it's that if I can't see the value in the physical world, then I largely lose interest because I'm all about valuing things in the physical world. Anyway, let me know what you think. Leave a comment if you would. Please do hit like, and if you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day. Bye now.